CinePals. We are continuing forward with Blue Eye Samurai. This is episode 7, Nothing Broken, unlike my heart. Unlike my soul. Unlike my ego.
And we'll continue being broken.
Put me back together. Okay, let's continue forward. Here we go.
Please, you have to help us. I have dying people or maybe they're already dead. I'm too scared to look, but
I'm too scared to look.
please. I've been walking for days and bad guys are after
Days?
us and I don't know where else to go.
Oh my god.
Days?
What do I do?
Ow.
Oh.
Oh, right.
Mizu, come inside.
Are you for real?
No way.
He heard the sound and he knew.
Yeah, he did.
Dude, what happens with the sword now? Do you just have a broken sword?
Yeah, now you also have the broken sword?
Made the shogun unspeakably rich, and all I had to do was hide. I spun so much gold in there. Fuck 10,000 times. I never want to see it again.
Free at last. Free at last.
I love the smell of fresh air in the morning.
Our spring procession to Edo. You promised we wouldn't be bored.
Every night a delicacy.
Oh.
We should send word of when the weapons arrive. Our friends are nervous.
Ah, let them be nervous.
I actually had a dream about Randall Park.
Oh, yeah?
Finding him at a concert and telling him how great of a job he did in this show.
What an oddly specific dream.
What's planned for tonight?
What sort of debauchery do we have going on this evening? Oh, we're just getting a montage of it.
Pleasure as always. Madam Kaji.
Always a pleasure to serve you.
The side-by-side pleasure with the dude next to you is something I just haven't wrapped my head around. Like, we're both having a good time. It's like odd to me.
Our army is nothing without guns.
You worry like an old woman.
Quit nagging.
The guns will be smuggled in on fishing boats in 2 days.
He likes hearing that.
I'll personally execute the shogun and the entire Ito clan.
Something's going on under that table.
Oh, is that what's up?
I think so.
It's like
Die
swordfish.
with him or bow to my puppet, who will take his orders from me.
Oh.
Oh.
That's aggressive.
I didn't say stop.
Take a deep breath. Oh my god.
The shipment comes in 2 days. Scour every port and fish yard. Search every boat. Open every box. Bribe any man at any price. We must get the guns. Before Fowler.
Maybe I just haven't explored life enough. Like, that just looks so big to me.
I was gonna say, you spend however many decades stuck in a castle except for 1 day a year.
I mean, it's not my lifestyle, but like, if it was, I'd maybe want something the size of like one of those midget bananas that...
Little plantain.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to not be forced to marry some horrible man I don't know. I want to leave Edo.
When in your whole life have you not gotten what you wanted?
Oh, so she's not married yet.
I guess not.
When you blackened my teeth.
Just trust me.
They've just got her teeth blackened in preparation.
I'm sure that you can undo that. I don't understand that. Like, it's hard to wrap my head around that.
The teeth blackening?
Yeah, like, why would that be a...
We do weird things. I did actually do some Googling on it.
long have you been
Supposedly the
married?
idea, or some of the traditional idea, was the blackened teeth separated us from the animals.
It's spring outside.
Interesting.
Be free, little birdie.
Very, very much Princess Jasmine. It's like a video game.
Yeah, right? Oh my god!
The way the music cut off, too.
Bird that small, cut on the wing. I tell you, you were born to kill.
Is that her new husband?
You saw something beautiful and your first thought was to kill it. You're as cruel as they say. You have nothing to say for yourself?
Let's just walk on. Yeah. Like,
This guy doesn't talk much, does he?
who are we dealing with here?
I think that's the son that she's supposed to marry.
You are bold to speak to the young master so plainly.
Yep.
Bold is unwise. A wife should be like tofu, unnoticed, colorless, and bland.
His first wife wishes she followed it. What happened to her?
Oh, she went back to her family.
In an urn.
Yeah, I was
He
gonna
is
say.
as ruthless in bed as in battle.
Oh my god.
Your fiance's favorite position? With an obi around her neck.
Part of me feels like the stories are overinflated.
Okay.
I feel like he's just like an odd dude, and then everybody's like created this mythos around him. But maybe I'm wrong.
You talking specifically just about him?
Yeah.
Okay,
just about
gotcha.
him. Just about him.
Don't do it.
That's a choice, girlfriend.
Get away from that window. This is your ambition now? Death?
Go away. I don't need your advice on marriage or love or whatever you think you're an expert on today.
The only thing I have ever known everything about is you, a gift from me.
A go said?
Oh.
You stopped playing when I was 12.
Well, then we start again.
Because I beat you every time.
Why? Because you learned. When what you resent is being someone else's property.
Women shouldn't be property.
And tomorrow you go from your father's to Master Takayoshi's.
Pouts.
Without your father knowing, often without you knowing, you think you sneaked into the library to read all those years. You are equipped to do more than survive here, but succeed.
Oh, long con.
Uh-huh.
Find the vulnerabilities. Capture. Win. You learned.
He set her up for politics.
You can stop pretending to be my mother.
I was gonna ask a moment ago, where did she get the inspiration to have this attitude and vibe?
If you must.
You know, if you're raised in the culture, why wouldn't you just be that culture?
I was no better a mother than I was a warrior. I did enjoy the job more.
Oh.
So it seems she got it from him then.
Or at least he was able, he saw it in her and was able to nurture her. Good morning.
Someone is awake.
Tell me if Takei never wakes up.
Ooh.
Thanks to your apprentice, you did not die. Your soul is stubborn.
And your foot's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You have to let me thank you for saving me. It's hard enough to admit you did.
Do you guys keep the duel?
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you questioning whether you actually want to kill her in 3 days or wherever?
Stop here!
What did she say?
Stop here. She
what
saw,
did she see?
what's her name? Madam Kaji? Madam.
Oh.
You're a long way from home. Yes, Madam Kaji.
Kaji.
Do I have to recite some Renga?
Akemi?
We rented rooms at a tea house here in the Yoshiwara.
We worked the whole highway getting here. Our way through all 69 stations of the Nakasendo.
The lavish royal wedding seems is mine.
That wedding is your wedding?
She really is a real princess.
Oh.
She's trying to be modest about it.
Yeah, right.
I'm in a snare, surrounded by snakes.
I will trade lives with you right now.
Happy to.
You need only service one freshly washed.
You don't understand.
That he's a beast, he's weak.
The grass is always greener, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
They penetrate women and think that makes them powerful. Their pricks are fragile, exposed. You saw it yourself. They want to be diapered, spanked, and breastfed. Nurture his weakness, be his strength, and he'll worship
guiding him.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be in control of my life.
Then
figure out
control
how.
of his.
Yeah. Two sides of the same coin, really. Her old mentor and Madam Kaji really just basically said the same thing, but in much different vernacular.
Can we fix this?
Not be a burden to you all.
Can he be made whole again?
I have no place until I've had my revenge. For that, I need my sword.
That's twice in this episode they've done that shot.
Mm-hmm.
Your sword broke because the blend was wrong.
It was perfect.
It was too pure.
Too pure.
Metal wants to be blended with new steel.
Do you have steel for me?
No.
Then give me a sword.
No. The fire in you rages beyond control.
You gotta bring it back in.
You gotta break her down to be at peace again.
I have no steel for you.
Do you take it? Or do you
Then I will make my own.
give in to this lesson?
Yep, then I will make my own.
He's like, screw all that. We're doing this. I guess her foot's okay.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm sorry to harp on that. As someone who has gotten martial arts and gymnastics injuries, like, those things don't leave for a while.
You gotta find the steel and all that. There it is.
Have you watched sword making in action?
A little bit.
Oh no!
Oh no!
What? Oh, it's stubborn, just like her.
Mm-hmm.
Surprised she didn't cut her hand when she grabbed it like that.
I was also thinking the same thing.
Old man Itagaki's famous fish dumplings. Only good thing about Kohama.
I've never tried them before. Remember? I was just a dog who ate gutter scraps.
Your blade.
The steel wouldn't form for me.
So what? You have to go after that son of a bitch Fowler before it's too late.
Oh, I'm glad we're on board the revenge train now.
The sword is the soul of the samurai.
Well, that's just what they tell first-year students in the dojo. You're good, maybe better than me, and no one is better than me.
You tell her, Vegeta.
Yeah.
The weapon doesn't matter. You could beat him with a hammer. Here, get up.
Master Age, won't like you moving things.
Well, he ain't here, is he?
He is not in the state for this.
Way too much pain.
Exactly. I'm like,
What are you, a writer for the show?
uh-oh, uh-oh.
Never trust your enemy.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Where is this going? Simbanala, Simbanala. Pinji again.
Ooh.
Must be missing a Kemi.
Tell him.
Something I need to tell you.
There we go. How does she tell him?
She's not gonna do
You'll
it.
never see Akemi again.
What?
She's an Edo, marrying Takayoshi Ito.
It caught me with bated breath, too. Damn it.
She came looking for me to save your engagement.
Fold again.
And you just let them take her?
Uh-oh.
I have to go to Edo.
No,
What are you gonna
it's
do?
too dangerous. Fowler is plotting an attack on Edo Castle. He has an army armed with foreign rifles. He's smart. He'll move to strike during the Council of Elders.
You've known all this time. What kind of samurai are you?
I'm going to kill Fowler.
For hate. You really are a demon.
Oh, man.
Dang, wow. That took a turn.
I'm
No,
going to
don't
Edo to
leave.
warn the Shogun, and then I'm going to find you and kill you.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow, that really, like, took a full 180 turn.
It is with pleasure I offer a seat to celebrate the union of my second son. To the only daughter of Lord Daichi Tokunobu. Each of you is here for your proven devotion to the shogunate. Right?
Oh, no.
Is he going to say something? Gosh, this makes me hungry.
Your meal was prepared especially for you.
I don't like the way you said that.
What is it? What?
What is that?
Is it an octopus? What is it?
Rabbit liver in a velouté of horse. For fertility. I do hope you can handle your duties.
Is that a real thing?
Horrible.
You'll find I can handle anything.
Damn, girl.
This one was your husband's idea.
Oh.
Such a sweet boy.
As sad as that is, I feel like that would be the easiest one.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, at least it's cooked, perhaps seasoned.
At least it's, you know, chicken adjacent, as opposed to...
But he's looking at her.
Get that look off your face.
You got this, girlfriend.
Honestly, the horse one was the worst one.
That feels like something off of, like, Fear Factor.
I study the sutras to cleanse my heart to make good swords.
You think revenge is an art?
Swords, pots, noodles, death. It is all the same to an artist.
Then I am a bad artist.
Interesting. She needed that.
An artist gives all they have to the art, the whole, your strengths and deficiencies. Perhaps the people you collected. I made my best blades when I had an apprentice.
Aww.
What do I do?
I only know how to make swords. Each morning I start a fire and begin again.
Got some reconciling to do.
Only she can answer the question of what to do next.
Exactly.
You know, earlier I was like, oh, there's not enough good men in the show, and I forgot about him for some stupid reason. Like, the most obvious one of all.
He's great.
Perfect voice, too. He's got that perfect old master vibe down pat of, like, being annoyed but also compassionate.
Absolutely.
Master Takayoshi sent you a gift.
Since you enjoyed your dinner so much,
He provided you breakfast and lunch.
Oh my god. What a punk.
I have a sneaking suspicion his mom is behind all the cruelty.
Don't. Get that look off your face.
Kick his butt.
Oh.
Kill my bird and make me eat it? Give me 2 more? Say something. Was it beneath you to speak to me?
No, mom's just evil.
It was an Apology for my mother.
Oh, he's like the King's Speech King.
Mm-hmm.
The most brilliant tutor I ever had a stammer. Lesser teachers laughed. But I knew it was because his mind was so full of thoughts, his mouth simply couldn't keep up.
Once again, she knows exactly what button to push.
The words filled with meaning and filled me with fire. Can my husband forgive me for striking him?
Yes.
Would my husband recite for me?
Ooh.
Wow. She got in like Flynn. That's crazy.
Yep. Own your destiny. Oh my god.
Do you think we're gonna get a moment in the show where she's like, I am no man, I am a woman, hear me roar?
I hope so. Like, we deserve that.
You know the Heart Sutra?
The body is emptiness, and emptiness body. All things are only empty. Nothing is born. Nothing
broken.
Nothing broken. Oh. Oh.
I need someone to do my back.
There are some things I cannot do alone.
That's why it's good to have a shower buddy.
Always shower in pairs. Homies wash their homies' backs.
If she's able to walk off that foot wound, I'm like, I don't see why you can't paint your own back. Seems like you could do anything.
If only for tonight. Let us share this pillow.
I feel like that's just how guys talk in bed. I mean, the vibrations in his voice.
Oh, she put in the broken blade too.
Yeah.
Taigen's sword.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so she's mixing the steel between the two. And her first knife.
Was it her first knife or? No, she's mixing those items.
All the personal items.
Ringo's knife.
Oh, you're right, Ringo's knife. And the tongs.
What? Are you
no
for real?
No way.
How are you gonna fetch that stuff out?
Searched every boat and every cart on every coast and found nothing.
That's not good.
I asked for 2 condemned men, they sent 4.
He's gonna use them as a demonstration.
Do your worst.
That's ballsy.
He knows something.
Oh, the distance, okay.
Time to test our guns.
Our guns?
Uh-huh.
Of course, I had to modify the designs to get 2,000 rifles from my country into yours without notice. My country's history is one of manufactured suffering.
This is super elaborate.
Yeah.
Tutors burned any food the rebels under O'Neill might think to eat. Mouths on the dead stained green from chewing nettles. You get resourceful in a famine. Died early, left me and my sister catching rats. The rats ran out quick, fed my sister on my blood.
Oh my god.
I didn't sleep for 3 days to protect her body from the starving till the ground thawed. I cut out her kidneys and buried her.
Oh my goodness.
I control my life now.
What a
Every bite.
Dang.
What a crazy backstory. How did he remember all
all the bits and pieces?
Yeah, for 2,000 guns?
I guess if you designed it like that.
Master Chiba tried to steal my delivery.
Oh.
I think he had a mind to lead our coup without us. You want his thumbs?
You want his thumbs?
That's right.
Seems we lost our man on the inside. Seems you'll have to do Chiba's job in the castle.
Whoa, damn.
Whoa.
Think you can manage?
Wow, he got what he wanted.
Yeah, he got what he wanted, but man, he sure lucked out that he didn't figure out it was him.
It's also lucky, I suppose, that Fowler didn't die.
A sword from this steel could kill a god. We'll make a blade from this worthy of your purpose.
No.
What?
I must go to Edo and kill the man I am sworn to kill. If I succeed and am still alive, I will return, and you can determine if I am worthy of a sword of this metal. Goodbye, Sword Father.
What's he gonna say? Some parting words? Nothing?
Nothing.
Bye, Sword Father!
Thanks, Ringo.
The princess summoned us.
This isn't a summons.
What?
It's a business proposition, Madam Kaji.
Oh?
I now have money of my own and would like to buy out your ladies' contracts. All of them.
All of them?
I find myself in need of new attendants. Good pay, new clothes. You'd have to live here, though.
You'd have to live here, though. Oh, man. Twist my arm a little bit more.
Palace? I need friends I can trust. Friends experienced in the world.
She's thinking.
Mm-hmm. Now you're using your noodle.
Is
is like the best thing that's ever happened to me. Oh my gosh.
Oh, what is this? She feels bad?
All her life has been dedicated to...
Akemi, please, listen to me. You have to leave.
What?
You're in terrible
She
danger
knows.
here.
She knows the plot.
Father, I didn't know what to do but to come to you. Tell him what you told me.
A white man is planning to attack Edo Castle and kill Shogun Ito and his whole family.
He's not gonna buy it.
Thank you. You may have saved us all, including my daughter. Who else knows this?
Please don't.
No one. He's gonna
She's
throw
gonna
her over
toss
the
her.
edge! He's in on it! I knew it. Dang.
You won't be married to some horrible man for long.
He'll be married to him. Oh no. What is happening?
Oh my god.
I guess it's to put himself in power?
Mm-hmm.
The people will rally around you when the Shogun and his sons are gone, allowing their power to fall to me.
He'll be the puppet.
You'll be safe here till it's over. Then you can thank me.
What a twist!
Wow, did not see that coming. I knew he was slimy, but wow.
I know. I thought he was all puff and no power, but clearly he's got things going on in the background.
I liked his voice acting better there.
Once he actually like did full evil turn.
Yeah. Then it worked better. Okay, what are your feelings?
I am excited for this final showdown. I wasn't expecting her dad to be in on it the entire time. What I'm a little upset about, and like, you know, upset in like, I love this show and they're doing a really good job. She's just starting to come into her own. Akemi is just starting to like make her way in the world and figure out like where she can have power and self-actualization in her own little constricted, I am a woman of high status world. And then they just take it away from her because her dad is one of the big bad evil guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was so excited to watch her progression a little bit more before something happened, but you know, at least we know that she's thinking now. She's got it going on.
So one of the things I pay a lot of attention to is the framing, if that's not already obvious. And they did this shot many times throughout the episode where you had characters and profiles side by side with each other. And typically in a live action, when you do that, because there's such an emphasis placed on a shallow depth of field, one of those characters will be out of focus. Many years ago, like in the 70s and 60s, if you did that same thing, maybe they'd both be in focus because we weren't aiming for super shallow depth of field all the time.
Right.
And so you have to be at like an F5.6 or an F7 in order to get both of them looking like they're in focus. All I'm saying is you don't really see that in live action today. And I think it's actually cool that you can do that in animation where you have both characters in focus and it doesn't feel weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I totally get you.
And it's almost like seeing a different side of them. And it's like they're aware of what they're doing because in the same scene, you'll have a moment where two characters are in focus and one of them's, or you'll have where two characters are in frame and one is out of focus.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, it's a very conscious, deliberate choice that they're making and it's very interesting to me. So it seems with purpose. I don't know what exactly the purpose is. It's something subconscious, I'm sure, but it's there.
I'm imagining it's I had a word for it and then it's totally flown from my mind. But like the
oh no, I did it to you.
Yeah. Oh god. The ones I was noticing were Mizu and Swordfather. They did a lot of that, and so I'm thinking it's sort of a comparison of like the generations or the two people that are important to each other or two sides of the same coin or have similarities or are learning their similarities. You know, you show them in the same frame. You show them as like, it's like the rise of man, you know, you showed like the evolution over time of like two different versions of the same thing. So perhaps they were kind of leaning on it to show the relationships between the characters in ways that makes it so they parallel each other.
Yeah.
In a very visual sort of way.
Yeah. There's two things I want to ask you guys and you about, just in terms of like your feeling about it, because like it catches me a little bit off guard, and maybe it's just because I'm not expecting it. Like lately, whenever I see a show, with the exception of Shogun, that is dealing with Asians in a period, I guess, like it's, you know, something that's not modern. There's always like the English always sounds so modern to me with the prolific use of F words and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's very interesting. Like that happened with Warrior and it just kind of threw me off. I'm like, it just sounds modern to me. It doesn't sound like period speak. Like if you were watching something of like English people in that same exact era, they wouldn't be talking necessarily like that. And so it's just kind of like catches me off guard, and I want to know if that throws anyone else off besides me, or if it's like sometimes I that voice kicks in with that attitude, and I'm like, am I just being a snob? Let me shut that voice off and just enjoy it for what it is. So I wanted to hear from you and the audience, like how you guys feel about when you hear that. And there's like so much nudity in this show. I'm like, it's not just a boob.
I was not ready for the excessive, like, full frontal nudity of this show.
It's constant. I'm like, God damn. Like, are we in Athens? Like, what is happening here?
You know what? I respect it, and I respect that they've kept it throughout, and it's been a common theme throughout the show. Because oftentimes, especially in the early days of like Netflix originals and things like that, they'd use nudity in the first like 2 episodes as like shock value. Like, hey, this isn't mom and dad's cable anymore. This is like, you already paid for the subscription. We can do whatever we want, right? For a little bit, like especially in that initial episode where they really hit heavily on the nudity, both male and female frontal, I was like, okay, we're going for the shock value. We're like reeling people in because like, oh my God, they animated private parts that nobody's ever animated before. But they've consistently done it. And it's been as consistent for both male and female nudity.
That's true, yeah.
So I think stylistically they've done a really, really good job. And if I'm remembering back, their, classical art, at least from a European standpoint, which is more the classical art that I have experience with, but like from a similar era, had a lot of nudity and focused a lot on the human form from an artistic standpoint rather than like a sexual standpoint.
Yeah.
And so I think that's probably the tone they're trying to elicit here as well.
Okay.
Because a lot of it's, I mean, granted there are sex scenes, but it's all artfully done and artistically done, and it's not like the central focus. It's not like every character is naked purely in sexual capacities. We had that whole thing with Mizu in this episode where she's writing on her whole body as...
I thought that was cool, yeah.
A cleansing sort of thing. And so I think the nudity's done tastefully. If excessively, I think it's done very, very tastefully, and it's not super bothersome for me.
Okay. It's a question to the audience as well, because I'm just curious about your feelings about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's just, only because it caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it to be that much. It's like, wow.
I fully agree.
You know?
It's been every episode.
I'm like, like Randall Park's character is just kind of sitting there, like legs spread. I'm like, but why? Like, what is it? I guess, to me, in my mind, it's like, okay, what is your goal?
Right.
I guess is always my question, because I don't know what the goal is. Like when you're doing that, I'm like, I don't know what you're trying to tell me. I don't know if there's something subconscious that'll click later on.
Right.
Like there's a movie that nobody liked, but I enjoyed it, called 7 Pounds, with Will Smith. And there was a sex scene in that movie. Did you see 7 Pounds?
No, I haven't seen it.
There's a sex scene in that movie, and it's a revealing moment for Will Smith and like his actual vulnerability of like these things that he's these scars that he has.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm like, this actually makes a lot of sense to me, and it clicks. When they're doing it here, I'm like, I don't really fully understand why it's happening, except for that moment with Mizu where like she's got the thing. It's just like there's this cathartic, freeing, like a cleansing of the soul, if you will. And I'm like, okay, I get that. The other ones I don't understand really. Like, why is this happening? And so that's why I'm just throwing the question out there. Is it just to be provocative? Is it like artsy fartsy and I can't wrap my dumb feeble brain around it? Like, I just want to understand like if I can elevate my thinking around it. And how did you feel about like the way they're talking?
The way they're talking hasn't bothered me a lot. There was one line in this episode that was like, whoa, that was really, really modern speech. I think it was one of the Madam's girls had a line like this is my dream or something like that. She used like in the way that I've just been using it, where as a superfluous phrase or like a filler term. And that took me out of it for just a little bit. But I agree with you. It is kind of interesting to have modern speech in a historical thing. But I think, at least my thinking with it, and why you would kind of lean towards modern speech rather than historical speech, is with British or historical stuff like that, we largely regard the British dialect as a historical dialect. Right? There's modern slang and things like that, but a received pronunciation, which is the term for like the high upper echelon British dialect, we always, at least as Americans, are like, that's historical. That's why like every historical drama, no matter what the language is supposed to be spoken in the country, is largely in British. RP.
Yeah.
Because we regard that as the historical dialect. So I think it'd be hard to do that without potentially feeling like they're doing a caricature for Asian media, because it would rely heavily on a dialect. And that dialect could, like I said, be misconstrued as doing a caricature rather than actually something historical.
I can see what you're saying. I wish there was like some kind of happy medium.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess it's kind of impossible. I mean, after going through, did you watch Shogun?
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so obviously, like, if you were to do a direct translation of Japanese to English, everything would be kind of backwards and weird sounding. But with Shogun specifically, they went through extensive efforts to get the sound of the Japanese right, to kind of model itself after, almost like, what was the language that they spoke in Jesus' time?
Hebrew?
Aramaic.
Yeah,
Aramaic, which is like a dead language, right?
Yes.
That very few people know. But it's like, Mel Gibson went through extensive efforts. It's my third time bringing up Jesus. And Mel Gibson went through extensive efforts to get that accurate and right.
Right.
And so it's like, well, how do you do that with something translated into English? And I just wonder, did Japanese people even use profanity as much as they're illustrating in this show? Obviously, we're dealing with a fantasy here where people are landing on one arm and getting shot in the foot and being able to move on just fine. So, like,
this foot thing's really a hang-up.
It would be me to, like, have a hang-up on, like, something like the language, but it sort of just, like, catches me off guard a little bit, where I find myself getting lost in the show, and then suddenly they just sound like Americans. When Swordmaster is speaking, for me, even though it's English, I feel like I'm being transported 400 years back through time, and I'm listening to a guy from that era. Does that make sense?
No, I totally understand. And there are definitely characters that elicit that more in their dialogue, for sure. Like Swordfather, a lot of the Imperial lords and things like that, when they speak, they have that same sort of pomp and circumstance that feels like, oh, okay, we're in ancient feudal Japan. But then we have other characters like Mizu or, some of our younger characters that feel a lot more modern. And maybe that was also a choice. Like, I can see them making that choice to separate our main characters who are going against the grain from the characters that are largely part of society and are the ones that are maintaining that status quo. That I could see that as a stylistic choice.
Sure.
But you're right. There is a sort of a difference between how Swordfather speaks versus Mizu and the other characters.
Even Randall Park, who, like, I'm very familiar with Randall Park, right? We all are. He even sounds like someone of a bygone era for the most part. Like, he doesn't sound like someone who's like my next door neighbor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, that's all I'm like asking a question about to the audience. It's like, I'm not necessarily criticizing it. I'm just like noticing it, and I want to know everybody's feelings about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the short of it. Overall, like, obviously the show's quality is like very, very strong. I very much enjoy it. And nothing is. I don't feel like anything's going to compete with episode 5 for me. Like, that was just such a standout.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, all of the feelings and everything like that. I did enjoy. I'm not one to, like, if I'm making a movie, I'm not like aiming to have nudity in it. It's like I only go there. In my mind, I'm only going to go there if I absolutely have to for some odd reason.
Right.
And her moment where she's like got the writings all over her, I thought was just so beautiful. It
was really beautiful.
That to me is super artistic. Just like her, I don't even know what that necessarily was, like, other than like the poetic stuff going back and forth between her and Ringo.
Right, the Heart Sutra.
The Heart Sutra, yeah.
Something like that.
I thought that was beautifully done. It was
very
nice.
beautiful. And just the imagery of it, I think, was really, really gorgeous. And you could see the cleansing, Sometimes it's difficult to show the release of inner turmoil or, the attempt of release of inner turmoil in a character. And I think that visually was very cool, where she was there and was not wearing the guise of the samurai that she's been maintaining, but she was there as herself, just fully naked, accepting the parts that have made her whole and have been able to help her along the way, like Taigen's sword and Ringo's knife, and then the tongs from Swordfather. I think that was a really, really beautiful moment.
Yeah, that almost got me. Like, when the Swordfather brought his tongs to also go into the fire, I'm just like, oh Lord, really? Dang.
Oh, man.
Thank you is not enough.
No, it is not.
I will say, though, contradicting myself a little bit. Well, maybe not so much. I think that the love scene or making love scene between Akemi and the
Shogun's son.
The Shogun's son, thank you. That was somewhat important to illustrate that this isn't like what the help or whatever, those other women were trying to convince her of. It's like, no, like she is properly, it's almost kind of like in Game of Thrones when Daenerys told, I forgot Jason Momoa's character's name.
Khal Drogo.
Yeah,
yes,
Khal Drogo. Yeah, like the Dothraki king. You know, like she's like, no, you're not doing me this way. We're gonna look at each other, right? And I was like, that's a poignant, that's a turning moment where it's like, okay, that makes sense of why you have these intimate scenes because it's a demonstration of like this is a change of power, you know. And it's like Akemi's taking control of the situation. I mean, even in that scene, she's on top. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, we're illustrating something important here. So, anyway. Cool episode. Looking forward to the finale of this season. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'm Jaby Michael. This is
Michael Boos.
Peace out.